Hi, this is Mark Zavon from Kill Devil Hill, and you're watching EMGtv. This is 5 minutes with me. My favorite riff to play live with Kill Devil Hill is Rise from the Shadows off the first record. It's got a really nice, dark, slow groove that just sits right in the pocket, and people seem to really like it. It goes like this. A guitar riff that I think everybody should know how to play is Into the Void by Black Sabbath. That riff has pretty much everything under the sun. It's got chromatics, it's got the tritone, it's got hammers and pull-offs, it's got all the good stuff, and all in one riff. So a brilliant riff by Tony Iommi goes like this. My favorite guitar body style is the SG because it's got points and curves. Some guitars just have one or the other, but this has both. Has some really good symmetry and kind of that hourglass figure that's super cool. Definitely into that. And a lot of great players, Angus and of course Tony Iommi, chose this as their model as well. So it's a great choice. I love SGs. My most memorable live moment would have to be when we played our very first festival date in Germany with Kill Devil Hill. It was at With Full Force Festival outside of Leipzig. And we get up on stage. That's our first time on a big deck like that, Dewey and I especially. And so we get up there and everything's going great. We start the first song and, there's a bunch of people. We're having a great time. But I realized that, my amp's not loud enough to keep up with the bass and drums. I'm gonna have to turn up a little bit. So after the first song, I head back toward my amp to turn it up. And I get all the way to where I'm about 1 foot from the volume knob and I run out of cable. Somebody had taped my pedal board to the front of the stage, which was a bigger stage than I was used to. And I couldn't reach my volume on the amp. So I had to yell and scream for somebody, and I don't speak German, so it was a little difficult to get somebody's attention, but it eventually did get resolved and I was able to turn up. But yeah, for a minute I wasn't quite so sure. My most memorable video shoot moment would have to be when we were shooting the video for Leave It All Behind. Our video director, Vicente Cordero, had basically picked out this old missile silo site, and it was up in the hills outside of San Fernando Valley. And so we go up there, and there's like a burnt out building, there's broken glass everywhere, and there's this old burnt out bus that's just sitting there, and we're like, oh man, look at that, that's crazy. And I'm like, I'm getting on top of that bus to shoot the solo, that's it. And so we're doing the rest of the video shoot. The shoot goes all day, and we're getting close to sunset. And, so I asked the guy who was basically the park ranger who was in charge of the site, whether I could, climb up on the bus and shoot the solo. And the guy said, no, it's against regulations. We don't have any insurance for that. And there's just no way that I can, there's a lot of broken glass and someone could get hurt and all this other stuff. So, I was like, oh, that's too bad. And our manager at the time was like, yeah, it's off, what's not happening. And so, the park ranger, took off and drove down the road to go do something else out on some other park ranger business. And the minute he left, I told my guitar tech to grab my guitar and I started climbing up on top of that bus. So I got up on top of the bus and had him hand me my guitar. And we shot what we got for the solo right as the guy was coming back. And he was just standing there with his arms folded, shaking his head because he knew there was nothing he could do at that point. It was over, we already got the shot. So, and I climbed back down, nobody got hurt, and the rest is history. It turned out pretty good though. I always liked the way that looked in the video. If the pedal police came and took all my pedals except one, I guess the one that I would not want to let go of would be my delay. I feel like delay is the ultimate ambience for guitar. It just lays perfectly in the pocket, especially if you can tap the tempos in. It stays out of the way. It goes with the music. It goes with the flow. Even more so than reverb, I feel like. And it's something that I definitely wouldn't want to be without. Yeah, do I have a doppelganger? I don't know if I really have a doppelganger, but I've been mistaken for people before. One time we were in an airport flying back from a Kill Devil Hill gig, and there was a guy in this restaurant. I had my gig bag with me, and the guy was convinced that I was Mark Morton. And because he had heard somebody call me Mark, and so that just, fueled his fire. And so I told him I wasn't, politely told him I wasn't. And I said, hey, no, I play with Kill Devil Hill. And he's like, sure you do. Sure you do, right on, giving me the wink, like he knew who I was, but I wasn't telling him. And so I just went along with it. I mean, at that point I was just trying to be polite, but it was pretty funny. Once in a while I'll get wrestlers, I'll get like, Edge or Chris Jericho, or and some people say I look a little bit like Pepper Keenan. So I'll take that as a compliment. That guy's pretty cool. But yeah, I guess that's my best doppelganger story.